Alright guys, in today's video we're going to be going over my kind of do-it-yourself tilting refrigerator slide and battery mount that I built. We're featuring the LiTime 100 amp hour slim Bluetooth and self-heated battery, along with the LiTime 60 amp DC to DC charger, although I was not able to make it run on 60 amps, and I will cover that later in this video. Before we start things off, just remember, if you guys like what you see here, please remember to like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And let's go ahead and get to it. My thought is to mount a board here and then have the battery on one side of the board and the DC to DC charger on the other, or potentially both of them on one side of the board, and then have the fridge mounted to the board and then mount the fridge to my deck system. Alright guys, so we have changed plans a little bit, and I decided to build this rather than an L shape. And what I'll show you is we're going to mount the battery up in here. We're going to have the DC to DC charger on the back. And then I'm making kind of my own DIY tilting refrigerator slide. So I purchased a rough country slide off of Amazon, took the frame off of it, basically set it up to where I can mount it on these hinges. And then we're going to take some ratchet strap and put it in the back and limit how far it can actually swivel. But yeah, so this should work. These are like 80-pound hinges, so they should be able to hold well more than this will ever see. There's actually a little bit of play in the hinges, a little bit more than I had hoped for originally. What's nice about it is it means that the alignment doesn't have to be perfect for it to be able to hinge. So we'll see. I've tested it out a few times. It does work. But I did sink these hinges in with epoxy just to kind of give them some extra security. I don't think it'll ever be an issue, but I just wanted to give it a little bit more just in case. So I need to let this dry, and then we'll start mounting the battery and finalize the refrigerator slide and all that jazz. I went ahead and, so how we built this was, it was all plywood, whatever this is, 7/8 thick I think. Yeah, 7/8 thick plywood. We ripped it down, we rabbited it. I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but we rabbited it to where there's just some more surface area, being able to have the glue hold on. We sent some brad nails into it. And then on the back, we just made kind of a wall. And like I said, this is where the DC to DC charger will mount. And then what I also did was I set it up to where I've got some L brackets on here. And then in the deck system, which it's covered in stuff right now, we should be able to find one though, I sunk some nut inserts into it, like right there. I just cut the areas where they're going to land and then sunk nut inserts into them. So once this is done, I should be able to remove it pretty easily. But yeah, let's go ahead and get everything going. So this is just a little time lapse of me putting everything together, probably for the, what I'm going to say, final time. I think I did take it apart one additional time, but this was most of the work. As you can see, I was also helping my buddy Dustin with his new trailer a little bit. Some things with his overlanding journey has changed a little bit, so we'll get a video that'll cover that later. Alright guys, so this is the homemade refrigerator slide / battery mount that my buddy Dustin and I, he's just off camera, made. So what we did was we took some plywood, we rabbited these legs, we measured the distance that I wanted the battery. I wanted about 1 inch worth of space between the truck bed and the actual battery. It's down here. I'll show you guys a little bit of that. And then we made a custom slide. So I took a rough country slide. And if you guys checked out my video, just kind of overviewing the battery and the charger, you can see that. But I mounted them to hinges, and then we went back here. So to control the amount of tilt that we have, I bought some strap pad eyes off of Amazon, mounted them to the back of here, and then down here, I'll get a video close up of that so that you can see everything. And then I had my friend's wife make me a little nylon webbing strap to limit the amount that I can actually tilt. So it actually works pretty good. It's very sturdy once it's all put together, so I don't really have to worry about it flipping over or anything like that. And then I mounted the DC to DC charger on the back and the battery down below, and we'll get some video of that real fast. So this is the DC to DC charger that I went over in the other video. I mounted it this way because I ran wires that'll go through my truck bed, and this will hook up to the wires. I just made an Anderson connector. I made all these. In a different video, if you guys are interested, comment below and I'll show you guys how to actually make these. It's pretty easy. And then off to this side, this right here is the actual side that goes to your battery. So I ran these, we left about 1 inch of space between the backboard and the bottom of the feet. So I should have plenty of space to run the wires, and then they go up towards the battery and they connect to the battery. So this right here, this is the D and the N plus. In the instruction manual, it tells you to loop these together, and that actually controls your charging. So this is actually something that's not really well covered in the instruction manual, but the D plus is actually an ignition circuit. So the way that this is supposed to work is that when the vehicle is started, and you leave this thing plugged in obviously, the charging voltage of the vehicle will come up to a certain point, which this will automatically kick on. So in the instruction manual it says to loop this wire to the N and the D plus. The N is just a reference voltage that comes from those plugs that I was telling you about that go through the bed to the Anderson connector, and then the D plus is really an ignition circuit. While this did work being looped for me, it was a little unpredictable and sometimes it would randomly not work, so I just ended up wiring it to a fuse that kicks on once the vehicle is started for me, and for that I just used a wire tap. If you guys are interested, comment below and I'll let you know what I used. And then if you wanted to limit it down to 30 amps, you could loop this side together and that would limit it down to 30. I don't necessarily want to limit it to 30 because I don't have a solar panel on this, so every time I want the truck to start, I want it to charge the battery as much as possible. And then this right here is where you actually set your battery. So you can have standard, gel, AGM, lithium, and something else. I'm not sure what it is, load. But we're just going to leave it on lithium. It's also got a fault light if you need it, and you've got a sensor that you can plug in. You got to buy that additionally. All right, and we're going to go ahead and show you these pad eyes real fast. So these, like I said, I purchased them on Amazon. They're super easy and cheap to install. All I did here was I measured the center out, marked this to center, marked my holes, drilled my holes. I used, I think, M3 screws for this. I bought an assortment off of Amazon. That way you got a bunch of different sizes because I really didn't know exactly what I needed. And then we did the same down here, but I used the included screws that came with it, so I just drilled them into the backer. But yeah, so this strap here limits it. If you needed, you could adjust it to whatever length you need, but I am pretty happy with this. We've test fit this probably, what do you say, 5 times, Dustin?
Probably.
Just to make sure that everything was exactly how I wanted. Something I'm not sure that I mentioned in the other video is I did epoxy these hinges down as well. So this was kind of a challenge because if you look over here, the normal holes for the hinge actually run up under the rail. So I had to drill some new holes, but this all worked out. And it seems pretty sturdy once it's installed. All right, so here's the actual battery we're going with. If you guys saw my other video, this is the Slim 100 amp hour LiTime self-heating and smart Bluetooth. So this battery does not need a battery shunt monitor for you to be able to monitor what the state of charge is. All that stuff's done through your phone. It's super convenient. You can always install that if you really want, but I don't feel the need for this one because I can just hook up my phone and it's easier than trying to dig around in the back of the truck to find it. So all we did here was we wired these going from the DC to DC charger over to the post on the battery. Now I do have a front plate that I'm going to be making. The pieces have not come here yet, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be drilling a hole here, installing a nut insert, a brass nut insert, and then making a face panel, and it's going to have a couple of DC charge plugs in it and a couple of pass-throughs for battery terminals similar to this if I want to hook up something like my diesel heater or something that takes a little bit more than 10 amps, because most of your car charger style plugs are only good to 10 amps and they don't really like being above that. So yeah, this is the battery. You can take a good look at it. We used 2 wood screws here to mount them. We used their factory mounting hardware plus the 2 wood screws. They do include longer hardware, but I'm working with 7/8 inch plywood, so I just wanted to go with something that did not poke through. All right guys, it's time to go ahead and mount it up in the truck. As you can see right there, I will put a light on it. I do have an Anderson connector in there, and hopefully that should all hook up and be plenty of wire. I'm sure there is. My flashlight's on the fritz. Let's turn that off. But yeah, it's quite heavy, so we might struggle a little bit to get it in there, but hopefully it'll go in there pretty smooth. We'll plug it in, see if it charges, and wish us luck. I still actually have to hook it up on the battery on the truck. All I did for this was I ran a 4-gauge power wire all the way from the battery to the back, and then I ran them up through the bed and through a pass-through. I drilled a couple holes and kind of made a grommet. That way there's no wire rubbing on any components on the truck. You can't ever get a short, hopefully. Let's come over to the right just about an inch. All right, guys, we've got it running. I did have to switch it to 30 amps, and it would not run on 60 amps, but it works perfectly fine on 30. And just to show you guys this whole setup, we'll unlock the phone. I don't know if you can see it, hopefully. Let's see if we can get this to zoom in, or not zoom in, but focus. There we go. You can see that it's charging. It says it'll take about another 1.2 hours to complete charged, and it's charging right at 30 amps. So we're pretty happy with that. And I'll go ahead and show you guys the functionality of it. Like I said, we do have to still get in the plastic so that I can make the faceplate where the refrigerator and other items will actually plug into it. But we'll go ahead and show you everything right now. So it's got a automatic fan that kicks on when necessary. Like I said, you can switch between standard, AGM, LFP, different types of batteries. And I'll go ahead and show you guys the slide now that everything's mounted. All right, so here it is. So this has got a lock here. I keep on forgetting to remove that lock. So you press down and it starts to tilt. The ratchet strap in the back catches it, and it works pretty well. Like I said, you could always adjust the ratchet strap depending on how much you want to tilt if you want to build one of these yourself. And if you guys need help building one of these, send me a message or shoot me in the comments and I'll try and help you out. You can always reach out to me on my Facebook as well, and I'm pretty helpful with this kind of stuff. My buddy did most of the building. I did most of the design work. He'll disagree, but this is the truth. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
That's 100% bullshit.
It's not. Not bullshit.
You came to me with an idea. I drew up. No, leave.
Well, all right, guys. It's a couple days later, and I finally have this all set up. I will show you guys everything that I've got going on. Okay, so this is what I ended up doing. I've got the refrigerator plugged in. It's not turned on just for the moment, but I went on Amazon and found a nice little switch panel. We've got a voltmeter. We've got a USB-C and USB-A charger, along with just a normal car charger, and then a switch so you can turn this on or off as needed. And then I also bought some pass-throughs, and these go directly to the battery. They're fused, obviously. And then what I ended up doing was I got some thumb screws and brass thread inserts. So I ended up drilling the mount to accept these brass thread inserts and mounted them in here. On the back of here, it's not really clean. What I ended up doing was taking some ABS plastic, heating it up and molding it. And I'll show you guys what everything looks like in here. It's nothing special, it just kind of works. So in here you can see there's our battery. I've got our wires coming from the charger into here, a circuit breaker, just a normal fused circuit that goes to all this. I did actually buy a little fuse panel, and I was going to try and mount it here, but I really just don't have enough space, and if anything went wrong I wouldn't be able to get in there to actually service it. So I decided to just go with a normal inline fuse and then a circuit breaker, and everything's just loose so that I can remove it if necessary. Putting all this back in here is really easy, which is kind of one of my goals, was to just be simple, not have to remove a bunch of stuff if I did need to get in here. And then last but not least, we've got the refrigerator slide. So like I said, I've got this mounted on a nylon strap in the back. We just sewed this to the length that I needed. This gives me a pretty good amount of drop in the refrigerator, makes it nice and accessible. One issue I was running into, or not issue, but when I was mocking it all up without the tilting bit, the refrigerator ended up being up here, which I didn't like. So I ended up going with the DIY tilting slide. I think it works pretty good. And then in the back, we've got the DC to DC charger, which I've showed you guys everything already. Something else that I wanted to point out with putting pass-throughs like this on here, not only is it convenient to just do ring terminals for accessories like diesel heaters and things like that, but you can also charge through here very conveniently. So right now I've got my 10 amp charger here. I didn't want to have to start the truck to charge it, you know, and waste diesel. So I just plugged my 10 amp charger into it, hooked it up here, and we charged it back up throughout the day. I think it's sitting at like 75% charged now, and it's been on there all day. I also wanted to let you guys know that I am an affiliate for both LiTime and the Set Power Fridge in this video. If you guys are interested in picking up your own, I've got some discount codes. They'll be in the description. Make sure to check that out. Use my affiliate link. That'll earn me a couple bucks. Makes these videos a little bit easier for me. But yeah, guys, overall, I'm super happy with how everything turned out. I did run the refrigerator nonstop for 4 or 5 days just to kind of get a baseline on how long this battery would last with this refrigerator. This refrigerator is a great refrigerator, but I don't think it's the most well insulated refrigerator, so I think it uses a lot of power to stay cool. I had it set to 34 degrees, and over 4 days it took it down to 33% battery. I know my bigger refrigerator, also set power, in the Suburban, will last longer. That one will last almost 10 days, and I think it's just down to insulation. This one's not necessarily meant to be a full-time running fridge, whereas that one is. And I find that the application for the LiTime app is super easy and nice to have. I really wish that this battery was in that truck, but I wasn't going to yank everything out to replace it. I figured I might as well just build it for this and be done with it, because then I would have to remove that old battery, remove the refrigerator, swap them, and then put a battery into this. I just didn't think it was the best use, and that way you guys can see a little bit of my new truck. One thing that I will say is I had to set the DC to DC charger to 30 amps. I don't know if it's because I have too thin a wire. I've got 4-gauge wire running from the battery back. For some reason it will not charge at 60 amps with my system, but it works just fine on 30 amps. Another thing that I had to do was find a circuit in the fuse box, which was an ignition wire, and run that back, because what I was having was that my battery voltage was high enough normally that it just kind of wanted to try and charge all the time and would kick on and off randomly. So once I wired an ignition wire to the D+ terminal on the DC to DC charger, I would show you guys that, but I don't really want to crawl back in there to show you. That solved all of my charging issues, because sometimes it would turn on or sometimes it wouldn't turn on, and then when you'd shut the vehicle off it would try and reinitialize the charger. So this was the better solution for me. Different systems may react differently and be able to use the internal voltage sensing of the DC to DC charger better than mine did. But yeah guys, overall this worked out great. This is probably the most well thought out and well built thing that I have done as far as like storage and mounting things go. The Suburban, it landed in a good place, but it wasn't nearly as well thought out. I really like having the battery under there in that nice tidy area. I don't have a bunch of wires running all over the place. And to remove this, all I've got to do is remove 4 Phillips bolts and then disconnect it, and it can be removed out, and I can have my full bed potential back. And that was one thing. This truck is my daily driver, so I didn't necessarily want to completely permanently mount this in here in case I needed to, you know, go get something and put it in the bed, something larger. Now with the deck system and the camper shell, I can't really use the bed to its full capacity, but I still wanted the ability to be able to remove it quickly. Well, alright guys, I would just like to say thank you for taking the time to watch the video. If you enjoyed this, please remember to like, share, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff. Make sure that YouTube knows I'm doing things that you guys like. Maybe do that hype feature or whatever it is. But alright guys, thank you very much for watching and have a good day.